Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, sports fans! Welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet, Sports Unfolded, where we cover all of the top sports stories that have happened this past week. That was not very good. I am your host, Eric. Main man right over there, Ron. How are you tonight?
I'm doing okay. I'm reeling from this week's horrible news from every direction.
Yeah, it was a lot that happened. A lot of it not good. We will cover some of that as well as some of the sports stories that have happened so far this week. We are hoping that if you are joining us live, you join the chat. Let us know what you think about the particular topics we are covering. Or if there's something you want to talk about, let us know. As long as it's not religion or politics, we would be glad to do so. Premiere today. I know Ron's going to watch Happy Gilmore 2. I think I'm going to try to watch it tonight as well. So little comedy. We need that right now. So that may help a little bit there as well. But before we get into it, Ron, let's thank those that help continue to help Sports Unfolded grow. First and foremost, 99.1 WDJY FM in Dallas, Georgia. Thank you for having us on every Saturday at 1 p.m., as well as 990 WBOB in Providence, Rhode Island on every Saturday night at 10 a.m. and also SECTV, Public Access Channel 12 here in Southeast Connecticut. Thank you for putting us on every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. We appreciate the support. Continue to help us grow and get us into more markets. So hopefully those particular people get to see, hear us, and come join us every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the best sports podcast on the planet. With that, we are on so many social media platforms. Please like, share, follow all of them, and let us know if there's something you want us to cover, or if there's a segment maybe that you really like, so that we can continue to make sure we expand on it. Ron, you ready to kick this off?
It's kind of bittersweet.
Yeah, it's a little somber. These sometimes are not the easiest lead-off stories, but we are going to start off in the wrestling world, which we don't cover a lot of, but we felt like this was a story we needed to talk about today.
You have to.
The wrestling world lost a legend yesterday. Hulk Hogan passing away at the age of 71, a cardiac arrest. Your thoughts on what he meant to the sport?
Look, I mean, I remember when he first burst onto the scene in Rocky III as Thunderlips.
Yeah.
After that movie, he was catapulted to the, I don't know, the stratosphere. I mean, this guy was WWF back then. Of course, WWE now. But he was like the most popular person probably on the planet.
I do not think WWF/WWE would be where they were today without what he brought to the sport and how he elevated that to every home, everywhere in the world knew who Hulk Hogan was. He had such charisma in the ring. His attitude of how he could speak to the fans and really pump you up.
That was my attempt to be,
and not very good. But I will say this: WrestleMania became WrestleMania because of Hulk Hogan.
Absolutely.
The culture that it created for so many people. And I stopped really watching wrestling once he was done.
That's when I stopped. I stopped as well. Just the magnitude of the entertainment that he brought to the ring, it it went beyond what boxing ever was. It went beyond what, MMA is even now. I mean, it was must see. I mean, it was Hulk Hogan, and no matter who he was wrestling, it was a spectacle, and it was an event that you had to see.
And obviously he dived into some movies, none of which were great, but again, just another way. I know he had the cartoon as well. So that was
It was a little better.
right. Just another avenue though, because they were trying to get Hulk Hogan everywhere.
Yeah.
And, late in his career, he did have some situations with WWE and obviously, some racial, comments that had been videotaped or audio recorded that kind of hurt his career as well. But you know what? I still choose to say that if you really look at it overall, he was somebody that people looked up to, that they kind of had this feeling. You wanted to be Hulk Hogan. You wanted to be
the persona, right?
In that circle.
It was iconic. He was, so big. He was one of the biggest idols of a whole generation, and maybe then some. When you think about the scope of what he brought to the table, was just massive. It was massive. We talk about, jerseys being sold for like football players, baseball, and whatever, whatever sport. I would find it hard to believe that there weren't more Hulkamania shirts sold than any jersey ever.
Without a doubt. What, 93,000 at one of the WrestleManias, the famous slam of Andre the Giant, the Mega Powers, Randy, Macho Man Savage, and what they meant. It's just, the list goes on. And then even today, if you think about, like, one of the most watched was when he faced The Rock.
Yeah, right. You're talking another whole different generation,
and it was still
saw him wrestle. Like, he must have been like in his 60s.
Yeah, and it still brought more people, because you brought back that old school wrestling fan to the new school wrestling fan. It's a sad day. It was a sad week. This kind of put the icing on the cake, because sometimes you don't know if you want to believe what's on social media, and I ended up searching.
You have to question it, right?
Yeah,
but TMZ, has been on top of it, so I actually trust TMZ. It's sad, but it's true. So once I see it on TMZ, it's real.
It's just unreal. So I did look this up. WrestlingData.com. 1,683 wins for Hulk Hogan, 132 draws, 413 defeats, which is a plus 1,270 on the victory. So he won a lot.
Crazy.
A 17-time champion. He held the belt 17 times. So again, you think about
think of all the defenses he made. You know what I'm saying? It was every week. And if you look at where we are today, Ron, with social media and all that avenue now that he didn't have back then in the 80s, he became a mega icon. And it was, you'd see them once a week. It was pay-per-view to watch WrestleManias, and it was only on once a year. It wasn't like now where every 2 months they have some event or something going on. It wasn't on every week. It was, I remember when I was a kid, it was Saturday mornings at like 10 a.m. We'd have like an hour show of WWF. There was no network. There was no internet. There wasn't any of that stuff that we have today. So how he became so big
in the world is remarkable, because if you think about how much more difficult it was to get that exposure, to be that global, to have all these things happen, you had to be right from the beginning. You had to hit on so many different dynamics for people to honestly want to watch you and tune in, because it wasn't as easy as, oh, I missed it, I'll go back and watch it. There was no DVR. There wasn't any of that where you could just say, oh, I'll just stream it later. You had to make sure you were available at those times to see him perform. And so many people turned out to do it. It was just an amazing feat on what he was able to do for wrestling, and to grow that sport into what it is to today, billions of dollars. I really do not feel, if he hadn't become that mega star as he was, that wrestling may not have been as prevalent as it is today. And again, that's my opinion, but I could honestly say that you had to have been so right on everything you did. So Ron, I was just saying to the fans out there, I know you were having some technical difficulties, but if you think about how hard it had to have been for that generation to become what it is, or what it was, because it wasn't like we have today, where if we miss something, we can just stream it, tune in later, DVR. You knew at this date, at this time, they were going to wrestle, and you had to make sure you were available. So and people did that, and because he brought that so much attention, and that you wanted to see him wrestle. And when it was him against Macho Man, or him against, Andre the Giant, a Honky Tonk Man, all those guys, you were like, I can't wait to see him wrestle these guys. I don't care what was going on Saturday night. I'm going to tune in.
And I'll even go further. It's like back then it was like everybody was identifiable. You know what I'm saying? It's like now you don't know, what their persona is, because everybody looks the same. Nobody, you don't see a Sergeant Slaughter with the hat and just coming out angry. You don't have the identity. You don't have the Iron Sheik.
But you know what, Ron? I'm glad you just brought that up, because that's what made him an American icon, because they had the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov, and it was the USA versus Russia versus, the Middle East.
Whatever it is.
But because of his persona, you felt it. You want, like, holy cow, this guy's fighting for us. And
Hulkamania certainly ran wild,
right? And again, his personality was just one of a kind. Danny, thanks for joining. But again, sad day yesterday. 71 years old, and his wife put out a beautiful post that said, you just assumed, as big of a man as he was, that he could get through anything, and eventually, father time. Decides, ultimately when it's going to happen.
It's sad, and he wasn't the only one that we lost this week. And it just seemed like it was one after another. I know when I do like the Going On Daily show, we cover these stories, and it was just hard. Because, okay, we have to cover, Malcolm Jamal Warner. Then we have to cover, Hulk Hogan, Ozzy Osbourne. We have Chuck Mangione. We had Connie Francis, who just recently passed away, country legend.
Michael Madsen, right?
Another.
Yeah, Michael Madsen also this within the last week or so.
So it was just one after the other. And it's like every morning you wake up and it's like, who is it now? And it was just tough, and Hulk Hogan kind of topped that off, and it's like,
well, it's our era. We're that Gen X. It's what we grew up on. So unfortunately, it hits home a little harder, because these are it's
just another name we're gonna have to get through on our final episode.
Yeah. Danny, no, I'm always happy to see you, buddy. Just a somber moment talking about Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
In
And I
what
can't see
he
the
meant,
chat still.
and what he meant to us, and what he meant to the wrestling world. And even though I know there's some controversy and some people who said he stole the gimmick, I'd look at it this way. Sometimes somebody's gimmick may not be as good as somebody else does it, and he just did it better than anybody else.
Look, I mean, we've seen it in just about everything, right? Whether it's sports, movies, music. I mean, look at Elvis.
Yeah.
I mean, those songs weren't his. He just perfected them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. Yep. Not taking anything out on you, Danny, my friend. I don't know where you're going with this, but you're always one of our favorites. So
Super fan Dan.
Rest in peace. We wish his family, the best through this difficult time. Our condolences are with them, and just a sad story. All right, Ron, we got through that. Let's talk some NFL. This is an interesting story coming out of Dallas. Can the Dallas Cowboys afford not to get a contract done with Micah Parsons? Can they win without him?
That's a tricky question, Eric. They can win without him. They just can't win it all without him. And in order for them to have a chance in the playoffs, and I know we talk about them failing all the time in the playoffs, they're not going to win a playoff game without Parsons being effective. And if you don't have him signed and he chooses not to play, you're not going to win a Super Bowl without him. You're not.
I agree with you. But I will say this. Jerry Jones has a history of doing this, especially recently when you look at Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb. He waits till the last possible minute. But, the difference here, I would say, is Micah Parsons is definitely more vocal. He's got his own podcast. He definitely makes sure his voice is heard. Those other two guys aren't as out in the media as Micah is. So this thing turns ugly. It could be worse for Jerry Jones this time, because I think people would start to hear a different side of it that you didn't get to hear with Dak or CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah. Look, I know people are going to listen more because of his platform, right? He's got a podcast. And personally, I don't know if I like the fact that all these players are starting to have podcasts everywhere. And, and I've always been sort of anti-ownership because I think they exploit players too much and I think they take advantage too much. But I think it's reversed now. I really do. I think the players get away with making teams in most sports. I think they are talking more and more. I mean, before it was just, basketball. Now I think they're talking more and more in other sports and trying to make these super teams. And they're getting more and more of the pie from the owners. And it's starting to get, too lopsided towards that side. I think so. And
Danny
I don't
did
like
a show with Danny saying you did a show with you and Becky. He was Jay Leno. He was Jay Leno.
Yeah, sure.
I have to check that one out. Yeah, I will say this. Parsons obviously is going to seek a higher number than what TJ Watt received.
Right.
So this is where Jerry Jones needs to make a decision, because Trey Hendrickson in Cincinnati, that's getting ugly there. But if they sign him and it's more than TJ Watt, now that price tag just goes up. So to me, Jones needs to make a decision sooner than later. Listen, 63 games for Micah Parsons, 52 and a half sacks, 172 solo tackles, 9 forced fumbles, 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, Ron. Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2021. So he's proven he can play in this league and be consistent. I did want to look at he ranks 5th overall in the past 4 seasons. So he's been in the league for the past 4 seasons, behind Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, Trey Hendrickson, Nick Bosa, and then it's Micah Parsons for sacks. So he's in the top 5 in sacks in the last 4 years. So you've really got to start to look at, again, the value and what you're going to pay him could get very interesting if you wait.
Again, we talk about this salary thing, Eric. If he's 5th, he shouldn't get paid more than T.J. Watt, shouldn't get paid more than Myles Garrett, shouldn't get paid more than, the other 2 guys that are ahead of him, Bosa and whatever. I can't
Trey Hendrickson. Yeah.
Trey Hendrickson, thank you.
But I'll say this, Ron, with everything, minimum wage goes up, salaries go up. That's what happens. So once the market's set at a level, it just you tend to go the next one.
But it just doesn't end because the next guy is always setting the trend.
Yeah.
And I don't think sports can sustain that too much longer.
I think you're right on that aspect. It'll hit a wall at some point, like it has to.
Yeah.
But right now the NFL
teams fold.
Yeah,
and
the NFL's so big.
Do I think the NFL teams are going to fold? No, because they're making what, $4 or $5 billion per team.
Yeah, and that's after they pay their guys. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this whole plays out. But I think Jerry Jones is going to make a mistake if he waits, because if Cincinnati can figure something out with Trey Hendrickson, I feel like a price tag of $45 million a year is going to be what Mike is going to get.
What they're doing, they're going to price middle class out of sports.
Danny seems to think he said he signs the contracts for his Dallas Cowboys. So, well, then sign Micah, man. I don't know what you're waiting for, Danny. It's on you then at this point. We're blaming Jerry Jones, and we shouldn't, because Danny's signing those contracts.
I mean, you think about it. In about 5 years, anybody that's in the middle class isn't going to be able to go see a football game. They're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, prices are getting outrageous. You can't take a family of 4 anymore to
and now, from what I understand, from what I caught on some headlines before I jumped on, is that there's like 100 players that
with the Super Bowl investigated for basically
scalping tickets. Do you need to scalp tickets? Really? As an NFL player, you need to scalp football tickets?
It's crazy. It's the world we live in, Ron. Somehow, Danny says I remind him of Roger Goodell. Wants to know if he's right, Ron. Do I remind you of Roger Goodell? Yeah.
You're Roger Goodell?
I don't know about that. Roger's actually kind of fit. I don't know. I don't think I look like Roger Goodell. All right, Ron. We'll see how this turns out. Believe it or not, preseason kicks off this week.
Yeah, what's up with that? I'm looking at the predictions and I'm like, wait, is this NFL? I couldn't believe it.
Crazy. I couldn't believe it. All right, Ron. It is time for starting.
The Hall of Fame game, right?
Yes, the Hall of Fame game. Yep. Starting 5. Here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Tonight's starting 5. What an interesting one.
Great one.
We decided to go with athletes, our starting 5 athletes who have never won a championship, but we think they should have. So yeah, there was a lot of names on here.
Oh my God.
I whittled it down to about 11. So I have 6 honorable mentions.
I do as well. It was hard. I could have 20 honorable mentions.
Yeah, I could have kept going. But all right, so I'll start us off, Ron. My honorable mentions, first and foremost, 4th all-time in wins in the NHL, Roberto Luongo. fourth overall. He's the fourth most winningest goalie all time in the NHL. Great receiver, Larry Fitzgerald. Would have liked to see Larry Fitzgerald get a ring.
Yeah, I like Larry Fitzgerald. He's actually a class act.
Right. Just always never got in trouble. Always right. Just went out and performed. Barry Sanders. I would have loved to see him go to a team.
Yeah, I got him on my honorable mention.
Right. And then the next three were very tough. I kept bouncing people in and out. One of the greatest hitters of all time in our generation, Tony Gwynn, honorable mention. Another guy, class act. You would have loved to seen him win a ring.
Yeah.
Charles Barkley, again, the round of rebound. I can't even remember what his nickname was, but Charles Barkley was one of those players that you always rooted for. Couldn't win a ring. Closest he got, Phoenix. And then this one, I stung. I left him out, but because I thought there were some other baseball players more deserving. But Ernie Banks had never won. Missed the Cub.
Banks on my honorable mention.
Missed the Cub. Did not make my list.
Yeah,
so
not going to see just the same, I don't think.
Those are my honorable mentions.
They're all good. Like I said, I could have put 20 guys in, and they're all deserving of being up there. I don't know about Roberto Luongo.
Emmett Smith won a championship, Danny, but Barry Sanders, Thurman Thomas is another guy that you could consider.
Right. Yeah.
Danny had Thurman Thomas. Did not win a championship.
Thurman Thomas is a good call because he was really good.
He was.
My honorable mentions, besides Barry Sanders and Ernie Banks is a 2-time MVP, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Deserved to have one.
Great player.
I have to throw Carl Yastrzemski in the mix here. I mean, he got a triple crown. I mean, this guy deserved it. He played long enough to get one.
That's the homer in you. Okay.
That is the homer in me. Yeah, you're right.
I could have put Don Mattingly then at that point. Don Mattingly.
Yeah, but he's better than Don Mattingly.
Don Mattingly was pretty damn good. But go ahead.
I do agree with that. I agree with that.
Okay, go ahead.
But, you get a triple crown.
Mm-hmm.
That's saying something, right?
Okay.
Just couldn't do it. I also have, believe it or not, I actually have Connor Bedard on my honorable mentions because he's a 3-time MVP and he has just choked.
Connor McDavid?
Connor McDavid. Oh, not Connor Bedard.
I was like, Bedard is just
Bedard, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
Connor McDavid.
I don't, not enough body of work for me.
I know it's not enough body of work, but when you got 3 MVPs.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
He's not going to win one, by the way, unless he comes to Boston.
Oh, here we go. The homer's coming out
more
more and more.
Imagine him and Pasta on the same line. Oh, my God.
More and more the homer. Keep going.
All right. So I had 2 others, and they were right there for me. So I had 9, and then I'm like, you know what? Let me throw these 2 guys in there. And I could have put Karl Malone in there, but I chose not to because he's not a good human. So he doesn't deserve one.
Okay.
And he ruins it for John Stockton. But I put Allen Iverson on my honorable mentions.
Yes.
Man, that guy had so much talent. They never gave him anything to go with him. Never gave him anything. And my other one, Ken Griffey Jr. Ah, man, he was so talented. He was so good, and injury sidelined him in Cincinnati. But
we could have just
that's
done
why
it.
They were just right there, and I lumped them in.
I would have said that we could have done just Major League Baseball players.
Oh my God,
there was a ton of them. There was a ton. Ken Griffey I left off because of
Rod Carew.
Yeah.
Mike Trout even.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so let's get this list kicked off. Let's see where we're at. So at number 5 for me, I had Karl Malone. Averaged a double-double, 25 points, 10 rebounds for his career, 14-time All-Star, 14-time All-NBA, a 2-time MVP, 4-time defensive player, all defense. So listen, I'm not judging him as a person. If he wouldn't be on my list.
I actually had him number 4, Eric.
But him and
then it's like,
Stockton,
no, I'm not putting this guy here. Get out of here.
him and Stockton were just
and
two of the best to do it. Two of the best that did it. So I had Karl Malone at 5.
Yeah. I had Joe Thornton at number 5. I'll tell you, his numbers are pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. This guy was good for a long, long time, whether it's goal scoring or as a playmaker. And he did it so that way, he mattered no matter where he was on the ice. And, outside of those big names that did win championships in, the NHL, like Gretzky, Lemieux, Yzerman, he was like right underneath those guys, and just couldn't put it together.
I've got to explain the starting 5 again to Danny. These are players that have not won a championship that we feel have. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman all have won a championship. And altogether, they won a championship. Guys that
cannot win a championship on this.
Thank you, Kenny, for joining. Kenny agrees with Karl Malone. All right.
Yeah, I couldn't do it, Kenny. Sorry.
All right. So at number 4 for me, when you talk about misery to lose 4 straight Super Bowls, but being one of the greatest defensive ends of all time, Bruce Smith
I thought about putting him there.
Bruce Smith, 200 sacks, over 1,000 tackles, solo tackles, 11-time Pro Bowler, 8-time All-Pro, 6 different Defensive Player of the Year awards. Bruce Smith it was him and Reggie White were nemesis for the offense.
I think if I have a glaring omission, Eric, it would be Bruce Smith.
Yeah, Bruce Smith, to me, should have gotten one. At least one out of those 4. He should have got one of them.
He was so good.
But, all right, who do you have that for?
The number 4, when I took Karl Malone off the board, I decided, you know what?
Barkley.
Charles Barkley had to be the guy I took him off for. I mean, it would have been Karl Malone, Barkley, and then I started thinking about it as like, I'm not putting Karl Malone on this list. I'm not.
I get you. The only reason why, when I looked at both their numbers, all NBAs, can't win a championship.
I know. The numbers are great for Karl Malone. I'm not saying they're not. I just don't want to put him in there because of his human ability.
That's fine.
But I love Sir Charles. Look,
he was.
I think when we're talking any sports,
the round mound of rebound, that was also his name. Hold on. Sports. Ron, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Sir Charles, why does this have the round mound of rebound, the Chuckster, the Chuck Wagon, the Prince of Pizza, the Incredible Bulk, the Leaning Tower of Pizza, Bread Truck, Boy George, don't ask me what that one is, Love Boat, Food World, The Crisco Kid, Wide Load from Leeds, Ton of Fun, and Good Time Blimp were all names for Charles Barkley.
I think one of us is lagging.
Oh, boy.
Because right now, your voice is not going with the video. But look, he has a lot of names. And that's what I love about Charles Barkley, right? He's not an idol. But he is an idol. And out of all the sports, I love tuning in to that halftime show or the pregame show with Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal.
They're great. They're great together.
Better than anybody else in any sports.
All right. So you had Barkley at 4. Eric is lagging. Okay. At 3 for me, I had Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb, 366 batting average, 4,189 hits, 12th-time batting title, 1 MVP, 1 Triple Crown. I had Ty Cobb, believe it or not, at 3.
I'm stunned that you had him at number 3.
Mhm.
Stunned.
I expected it.
Stunned. I'm so stunned. I have Dan Marino at number 3. I mean, I still to this day don't understand how he didn't win one. I really don't. I mean, he was clearly, in my opinion, the best quarterback in football. Clearly. I don't know how he didn't win one.
Yeah.
They had a good defense. They had some great offensive talent. How did they not win one?
Joe Montana.
Well, yeah, that's why.
That's why. All right. So at number 2 for me, Ron, Ted Williams. Ted Williams, 344 batting average.
You got Dan number 1.
19-time All-Star, 6-time batting title, 2 Triple Crowns, 5-time Major League Baseball Player of the Year, and a 2-time MVP. Like, he checked every single box. And it's that Boston curse, the curse of the Bambino, it hit him probably harder than anybody else because he deserved one.
Yes, and I agree with that. I don't know how you put him below Dan Marino, but I will take that. I will take that because these top 3, there's no reason why they shouldn't have one.
Agreed.
I mean, everything points in the direction that, okay, you're going to win multiple championships. And Ted Williams is my number 2 as well. And, I mean, you read the stats. Look at those stats. That's a great player. Like, who do you put above that, right? I mean, it's like, who do you put above that?
Yeah. Yeah. This is why at number 1 for me, Dan Marino.
Yeah, I know that's
61,361 passing yards, 420 touchdowns, a 9-time Pro Bowl, 3-time All-Pro. But I'm going to explain to you why I put him at number 1. Ted Williams, phenomenal hitter. But we could say Ty Cobb was better. Tony Gwynn, great hitter, right? Bruce Smith, great defensive end. But again, Reggie White, you got some other guys that you could still consider. They all can do that, even during their era. Dan Marino was so far ahead of his era. He is putting up numbers then that they do now because it's a passing league and the quarterback can't get hit and everything else. He was doing it in the early 80s when the league was allowed to hit quarterbacks and to do things and you could nail a wide receiver and do all the. He still put up those kind of numbers. So to me, it was by far the most impressive because nobody had done it to that point.
Yeah, and I get that. Totally. And like I said, doing the top 3 was really easy.
Let me ask you this, Ron.
Everybody else after that is like, oh my God, he deserved to win. But did they?
If you Dan Marino today throws for 6,000-7,000 yards in a season, I wouldn't doubt it. I would not doubt it. Like, that's how insane it would be. I think he would throw for 6,000 yards in a season.
Yeah. I agree with that. And believe me, I look at the numbers for Ty Cobb and Ted Williams, and it's just astronomically out there, right? I look at Dan Marino's numbers, and for the era it was in, it's astronomically out there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I still, like I said, I don't know how he didn't win one.
Agreed. That 83 team that was fun with Duper and Clayton, and he had the Marx brothers. It was a great team. But again, Joe Montana.
Well,
I'm going to assume Ty Cobb
is that guy that just wins.
There's a kryptonite for all these great players. That was his.
Yeah, there was a kryptonite.
Yeah, like Barkley was Jordan, right?
Everything. It was called Babe Ruth.
Yeah, Babe Ruth was his kryptonite. So I'm going to assume Ty Cobb number 1 for you.
Ty Cobb was number 1 for me. Look, the top 3 are the top 3. That's the one thing that I knew. I have them circled. Dan Marino, Ted Williams, Ty Cobb, they are circled. After I wrote everybody's names down, that was the easy decision. Who's in my top 3? Those 3. Everybody else had to fall in line. They had to, like, okay, is this guy better than this guy? They all had to do that. These three didn't have to do that. It was clear cut. They were the top three. It's just putting them in what order.
Yeah, what you feel is more important. But fun list. That was fun.
Oh, it was a great list.
That was fun. That was something different.
Like there was like, there's so many. I mean, when you talk about, just like NBA players. I mean, we didn't even talk about Patrick Ewing. Elgin Baylor.
Yeah. I had Jerome Gilna.
Irvin, Reggie Miller, Steve Nash didn't win one.
Yep. Jerome Gilna, Calgary.
He was Gilna, Pavel Bure.
Yep. Adam
Marcel
Oates.
Dion.
Yeah. Oates.
Sixth all-time in goals. Not on the list.
Yeah. It's crazy. Right. All right, Ron. Let's talk some NBA. Former Celtic. Hopefully Kenny's still on, because I'd love to hear Kenny's thoughts on this. Marcus Smart has joined the Los Angeles Lakers. Could he be the missing piece for them
How about that, Danny?
A title run? Can he be the missing piece?
I was thinking about this, and I like the move. I don't know if he can bring them to a title, but I'll tell you, that's a big improvement for many reasons. First of all, as I choked,
all choked up on it. You miss him that much.
The defense,
100%.
That defense that he can provide is top notch, and it may
you don't get it from Luka.
Help with Luka being there,
right? You need something to kind of counteract what Luka's going to do defensively.
The leadership, I mean. I just love the fact that he'll bring the ball up rather than LeBron. I think that's the smartest thing. No pun intended. The smartest thing this team could do is have somebody else distribute the ball, because now you have to worry about two guys on that court that are going to get the ball. And you can't double team both of them, because then you have two other guys just floating around with nobody covering them. So I think this is great for them.
He brings an energy. We know what he does. He does the dirty things that nobody wants to do, right? Takes the charges. He's going to, defensively, he'll play against anybody. He's not afraid to do that.
And as long as they tell him, don't take the shot.
Yeah, he's got to stay healthy. He only played 34 games between the Grizzlies and the Wizards last season. But again, a 3-time all-defensive, 1-time defensive player of the year. You know what he's going to bring on that side of the ball. But I would say this. The Lakers were 3rd overall in the Western Conference last season. But you got to look at the Thunder won a championship. Houston picks up Kevin Durant. The Clippers get Bradley Beal. So those are all in the mix for that. So I don't know if this move puts them ahead of those teams.
Right. That's what I said. I don't know if it gets them a title.
So again, but then you got Ayton with LA. So Ayton, now he's more of a defensive-minded player with, Smart. Now you could start to see maybe they've got something building.
Yeah, they do.
But again, what do we expect from LeBron? Right? LeBron at what, 40? What's LeBron now? 41, 42, 41, 41. Old. Right? So it's going to be... Oh, jeez. What is going on with you today?
Pass the ball, Luka. I'm
boy.
going in for a slam dunk.
Anybody find my teeth on the court? They fell out. Oh boy. All right, let's talk some Major League Baseball. Trade deadline around the corner. One move has been made. The Seattle Mariners have made a trade. They picked up Josh Naylor. Can this help them? Is this enough? Will they need more? Mariners hammer out a deal for Naylor. That's so clever of you. So proud of you. So proud of you.
I like it.
I mean, can I start with this? He was rumored to go to Boston.
Yes.
Boston and Seattle are fighting for those wild card spots. So I like this move for Seattle on that aspect. You take a player off the board of a team that you're competing against.
Absolutely.
So to start that way,
it's great for Seattle to beat the Red Sox to the punch on that for them and for us, because personally, if I'm going to have a first baseman, I want that first baseman to absolutely rake. 11 home runs is not raking. It's doing some light yard work, but not raking.
Yeah, but you got to look at the team he was on, and again, what's in front of him, because he probably didn't have as many opportunities.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, but look at the current roster for the Seattle Mariners had Rowdy Tellez. He was batting 208 with 11 home runs, and then Donovan Solano, who was batting 243 with 3 home runs.
Is that the guy from Major League?
No, that was Serrano. But Naylor was 290. He's batting 292, so he gives him a better bat.
It does.
So it gives right. And again, if you look at it, they ranked 16th overall in batting average. This should increase that. Yeah. 12th in hits, 10th in runs. They need to score more runs. They're not scoring enough runs. So I think this move helps, Seattle in that aspect. But he's a rental too. He's gone after this season. So
right. And it's like I would not want to trade, say, Jarren Duran for a Naylor. That is going in a reverse direction to me. So I'm glad that at least he went to Seattle and didn't come to Boston at the cost of Duran, because that would not be acceptable. Now, I know that people are calling for Jarren Duran, and eventually there's going to be a team that they like the deal.
It's going to happen.
And I know San Diego tried to offer Dylan Cease and their number 1 prospect and another prospect on top of it for Jarren Duran, and the Red Sox turned them down. I say, just put Yoshida at first. Give him some reps. Get him over there. I don't care if you have an extra outfielder. I really don't care. But I'm not trading Jarren Duran because there is not a player on your roster that can lead off. Not one. So great job, Seattle, pulling the trigger. You got a guy that was better for you, and you got the first guy. You got the first piece going. This is going to help Seattle make the playoffs.
All right. So Toronto, Houston, and Detroit, currently the American League leaders. The wild card, the Yankees, Mariners, Red Sox. Sox are a game and a half up on Tampa and Texas for that last wild card spot. New York also made a move, picked up Ryan McMahon from the Colorado Rockies, so it gives them some stability at third base. Boston needs to make a move soon. We talked about this. They have that 10-game winning streak, and I think they kind of got everybody excited about it. This is a big series this weekend against the Dodgers.
What are they, 2-4 since?
Yeah, but if they look decent against the Dodgers, people are going to say you have a shot. You got to make a move. And to your point, I think Duran is by far the biggest chip they have that they could get some players back for.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about the other players, Duran is definitely the guy that can get the most, because it's either Duran or Yoshida. You're not going to get anything for Yoshida because of the contract. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the Red Sox are going to do. They could stay pat.
Yeah, I could see that as well. And again, I think there's not a. Do we expect the Rays and the Rangers to make this massive push? No, I think that's the problem.
Rangers. I think the Texas Rangers, they have some good pitching. And I think they have more of a shot at catching somebody than Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
I think Tampa Bay has been exposed. And I don't think they're going to be able to recover from the loss to the Red Sox. They haven't been the same since that series.
Coachy Flox.
I think Texas Rangers has a shot.
Coachy Flox, thanks for joining. Said have a great stream. Much love from the coach.
Flox.
From the coach. So listen, Texas 8-2 in their last 10. So you're right there. Mariners 7-3. This only solidifies them as well. So it'll be interesting to see Detroit on a downhill spiral. 1-9 last 10. So we'll see what the Tigers make a move or not as well. But what do we got? Week left. It's about a week. And then the deadline's over. I think about a week, right? Yeah, I think we got a week left.
31st?
So, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that'll be next week. It's next week, my friend. All right, it's time for split decisions.
Oh, my God. I could not wait for this one. Stephon Marbury is kind of weird looking.
That is definitely not Stephon Marbury.
Yeah.
That is not.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I didn't even look at the picture when it says Stephon Marbury, and I looked.
But Stephon Gilmore.
Once I put it up, and I'm like,
Gilmore?
Stephon Gilmore. And I'm like, he's kind of odd looking.
No, that's him. When you said it's definitely not Marbury. All right. So our split decision segment, basically we give each other two more likely scenarios, and then we got to make a decision. I am first this week, so I will start us off with your first split decision, Ron. Which second-year quarterback is more likely to have a more successful upcoming season? Caleb Williams or Drake May?
That's a tough one. Because I'm still not sure that Chicago is going to make a massive move up the standings. Because when you think about it, how many wins did they have last year?
I think 4, maybe.
Right.
4 or 5. There was
basically the same as the Patriots.
Yeah.
Can one of them get to 11 wins?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think realistically, maybe 8 or 9 would be pushing it. And I'm sorry. I don't want to. I don't think they're a better team than Chicago, but I think they're in a weaker division than Chicago. So I think New England will have more wins than Chicago, if that makes any sense.
Well, the reason why I asked this question was a lot of talk out of camp that Caleb Williams is just not doing well with Ben Johnson.
Oh, see, that's disturbing.
So it was interesting to see that. I guess he pulled the first team off the field yesterday, basically because they couldn't get the plays on time. And I'm hearing good things about Drake May in New England's camp. So does he take a second-year leap, and we see Caleb Williams maybe not be deserving of that number 1 pick?
Yeah, I don't know if he's not deserving. Look, I don't like the way Chicago has handled their franchise the last few years with a quarterback shuffle. You know, they didn't do their quarterbacks any justice whatsoever. And I'm not sure they're going to do Caleb Williams any justice as well. So I look to Drake May have a better season.
All right. Your first split decision.
All right. We'll stick with the football. Which NFL free agent will sign with a new team first? Asante Samuel Jr., Stephon Gilmore, or Jadeveon Clowney?
Clowney's injury prone. I could see teams like staring away from him early, and then when the necessity pick him up. So that'd leave me Gilmore and Samuel Jr. And I would say Samuel Jr. is younger,
very younger. Yeah, he's the youngest.
So I could see Asante Samuel Jr. getting picked up first based on his age, because teams feel like, okay, if this kid does work out, we got a better shot of keeping him for a couple years, whereas Gilmore is definitely a 1 to 2 year player. And you've got to be close. If you're going to get a Gilmore, he's not going to a team like Tennessee that isn't going to make the postseason this year. He's going to want to go to a team that has a legitimate shot to possibly get to the postseason. So I could see teams waiting on Gilmore as a insurance piece. So I would say Asante Samuel Jr. Good question, though. Good question.
Okay.
Good job. All right, Ron, your second split decision. Which NBA player is more likely to win at least one more championship before he retires? LeBron James, Kevin Durant, or James Harden? Which player is more likely to win at least one more championship or a championship before he retires?
Well, the fact that LeBron James is never going to retire.
Right? We don't know. Supposedly this may be his last year, which was like for the last 5.
Now, the question is, do I think Kevin Durant can win a championship with Houston is really the question right now, because James Harden is out. I'm not saying he's going to win one ever.
Okay. So
I mean,
Durant or LeBron.
He's another one of those guys that might deserve one,
but never
except
get
for
it.
his play in the postseason. So to me, it's between Kevin Durant and LeBron. Now, do I think that's the smart deal is going to put them over the top? I don't think it puts them over the top. Now, so the question is,
I got confused there. The smart deal, and I'm like, what do you mean this? Which deal was smarter? But you meant smart deal, Marcus.
Yeah,
Smart deal. Gotcha.
the actual Marcus Smart deal.
Smart deal. Gotcha.
So I have to decide basically whether or not I think Houston can win a championship with their constructed team. And I got to say no. I'm going to say LeBron.
Wow.
I'm going to say LeBron.
Wow. That is a shocker.
I don't think any of them win another one.
Yeah, and more likely, though, is LeBron.
More likely, I think it's LeBron.
Okay. Wow. All right.
Because he'll go somewhere with a super team or...
All right. Your final split decision is Ron.
All right. Arizona Ace Zach Gallen is probably going to be moved in the next few days. Who's more likely the team he's going to get traded to? Is it the New York Yankees, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the New York Mets, or the Boston Red Sox?
Well, Mets already made a move. They got a reliever. I don't know how much more they're going to give up. He's going to be a pretty pricey trade. So I would honestly, I think he stays West Coast. I think he would stay with the Dodgers. I don't think he'd want to come East Coast and New York, and that market's going to eat him up if he doesn't do well. Whereas you could go to LA and get surrounded and lost in the weeds with everybody else that's there. So I could see him going to LA. And they'll find some way to work that contract in and do something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Yeah. So, yeah. Listen, I don't think Boston makes a big move. I don't think they make a splash that people are like, holy cow, I can't believe they did that. I think
they're eyeing another starting pitcher from Arizona.
Yeah, I will say this. I don't think they're not going to make a move. I don't think they're going to get the number one,
they
possible
could go after
guy.
Kelly.
But they'll get somebody good.
Arizona.
Yeah, they'll get somebody good. But I don't think they're going to make that massive splash like some of the other teams.
Yep.
All right, Ron, let's talk some NHL. Nice, good segment there, man. You did a good job. All right, the Carolina Hurricanes. They've signed Jackson Blake to an 8-year deal. Is this a good move for the team?
I actually think it is, actually. The more I thought about it, I thought it was really dumb at first because he was only a rookie.
Yeah, he's only played, a handful of games.
Yeah, he played like 80 games this season. And he got 17 goals, 17 assists.
Yeah.
The kid has been a goal scorer, though, everywhere he's been. So I think they might have a guy that they can probably get 25 to 30 goals here. So it's just whether or not they have a constructed team that can do that.
So I guess my question would be this then, Ron. 8 years? Like when you say, hey, a 4-year deal and try to see if the kid, because now we get a full body of that's insane for me to think about that. A kid that, I mean, but they're going all in. It looks like the Hurricanes.
Yeah,
so, right,
well, they're going to expect to get 20 to 25 this coming season, which is a lot to ask for.
Yeah, they signed the top free agent, or one of the top free agents, Ellers. Right, so they're looking to get back to the finals. I just find it funny. $5.6 million per year annually for this kid, who's basically, to your point,
which
17
could be
goals,
a bargain,
in 5 years. Yeah, but it could also be a horrible contract.
It could be
the other way,
because if he does nothing, you're
locked in though, right? You're like, and nobody's going to trade for him at that price at that point. So, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. So you think a good move for the Kings?
I'm interested to see what direction this team really goes, because look, they've been ending their seasons very disappointingly. And how long is it before they realize that they got to get bigger and stronger, not necessarily faster? Because the Bruins went speed, didn't work. Rangers went speed, didn't work. Florida went toughness, and it worked.
Yes,
they have those guys that can do both, and this might be where they're heading with a kid like this. He loves those close-in places, So if he's around the net and he's fighting for space, it's good for him. Open space, not so much.
Postseason, 3 goals, 3 assists. So he put up some points for them. Listen, I hope he does well. That you're putting a lot of eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Because that's
especially a young basket.
Yeah, 8 years. 8 years, but a good move. I guess good move. We'll
I like it.
We'll talk about it.
Be a great one.
In 2 years from now, Sports Unfolded on 2020. We'll see. Hey, you remember that time we talked about Jackson Blake? And
it could be this kid. Right. He might turn out to be a 30-goal scorer for all we know.
Yeah, Danny wants Becky and him on the show someday. Danny, we'll talk about it. All right, Ron. It is time for pick and roll.
It's time for pick and roll.
Our pick and roll segment tonight, episode 30 of season 5. Get smart.
Kenny's still there.
Yeah, he's still there.
Still sitting on the ledge.
These players all wore number 30 in their career. That was Steph Curry, Ken Griffey Jr., Nolan Ryan, Martin Brodeur, Brian Mitchell, and Terry Sawchuk. We're going to rank them from 6 to 1. I am first this week, so I will start us off. This was a tough list. It was, because if you looked at it in a couple of different ways, you could clearly see how it could go, and you could number
it was
these.
Clearly 5 better than 1.
See, I know you're going to go there, and I got him at number 6, Brian Mitchell. But I will say this:
still a good player.
463 punt returns for 4,999 yards, 9 touchdowns. 607 kick returns for 14,014 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1-time Pro Bowl, 1-time All-Pro, 1-time champ. Special teamers never get loved in the NFL.
No, they don't.
I think Matthew Slater for the Patriots was one of the first times I saw a guy that's all he did, and his numbers stink, but every year. Brian Mitchell was one of those return guys that changed the game. I
remember very well.
Yeah, they stopped kicking to him because they were so afraid of what he was able to do.
You have to.
So, again, great player, but amongst these other 5, it was tough to put him ahead of them.
He got lost.
This is where it got real tough for me, and I know you're going to disagree with me on this one, but I had Ken Griffey Jr. at 5. Griffey, again, great numbers: 284, 27. I didn't like the hits. But we talked about it before the injuries. 2,781 hits, 630 home runs, a 13-time All-Star, 10-time Gold Glove, 7-time Silver Slugger, and a Major League Player of the Year award, but never won a championship, so I pulled him back a little bit. At 4 for me, Nolan Ryan. I still consider him probably one of the top 5 best pitchers of all time. 324 wins, 3.19 ERA, 5,714 strikeouts. Pretty damn good. 8-time All-Star, 2-time ERA champ, and he won a championship that put him ahead for me against Griffey. At 3, I had Terry Sawchuk, 445 wins, 2.50 goals against, a 907 save percentage, 7-time All-Star, 4-time Vezina, won a Calder, and 4 cups. So pretty damn impressive career. But these other 2 guys, I went neck and neck, and I bounced them back and forth for a few, and then I went Steph Curry at number 2. 24.7 points, 4.7 rebounds, 6.4 assists, 11-time All-Star, 11-time All-NBA, 2-time scoring, 2-time MVP, a 4-time champ, and a 1-time Finals MVP. But at number 1 for me, the best 30 in my eyes, Martin Brodeur, 691 wins, all-time NHL record, and it's not even close. He's like 140 wins more than anybody else in the history of the NHL. Not only that, Ron, a 2.24 goals against and a 912 save percentage is absolutely ridiculous. Those rank towards the top of the NHL history books as well. So 7-time All-Star, 5-time Jennings, which meant he gave up the least amount of goals 5 times in his career. 4-time Vezina, 1-time Calder, and a 3-time Cup. So I went Martin Brodeur at number 1, and I didn't even think it was close because I love Steph, but I don't think anybody's going to touch Brodeur.
Give yourself an applause, Eric.
If it was working, it's not working right. So,
yeah,
it's not working.
All right, so I have Brian Mitchell at number 6. Look, great special teams guy. One of the best all-time special teams guy. But
him, Meggett, right? Dave Meggett was one of those guys. Dion, when he returned kicks. Yeah, some of those guys were just special.
Desmond Howard.
Wait,
Howard. No, Desmond. Wait.
Yeah, it was Desmond Howard in the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. That comes to mind so much.
Nolan Ryan is a legend, yes.
But he was overmatched with the other guys. Number 5, I also had Ken Griffey Jr., and which is probably a surprise for you.
That is.
Big, huge Ken Griffey Jr. fan. He still had a 284 batting average for a power hitter. Back then, that's great. If your average is like that with a power hitting, 630 home runs.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly when you said if the injuries hadn't played a factor, his numbers would have been ridiculous. He would have crushed it.
It would have been a cakewalk. But those no championships did take its toll on this list. The only one without a championship.
Yes, he was.
Number 4, I also had Nolan Ryan, and I know you mentioned that he was probably one of the top 5 pitchers. I could probably name 10 easily that are better than him. But with that being said, there was certain times in his career where you just couldn't hit him. And when you can amass these numbers, 5,714 strikeouts, 773 complete games. It's unheard of. You could take every pitcher in the league right now, add all of those pitchers up, even in their minor league, college,
probably the last 5 years,
high school.
Right. Last 5 years.
You can add them all up. None of them have all of them combined don't have the complete games that Nolan Ryan had. Like when he went onto the mound to take the first pitch, he was finishing the game.
He was owning it. Yep.
You weren't taking him out. He'd probably throw a ball at you if you tried to. All right, so number 3, I also had Terry Sawchuk. Terry Sawchuk, his numbers mirror Martin Brodeur's numbers until you get past the amount of games. And then Martin Brodeur just went crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
And just decided, I'm going to win like an insane amount of games. I will go down in history as the best goaltender ever because nobody can touch those wins. 691 of them. The only debate on whether or not he's the best goaltender is Patrick Roy. That's the only guy that has a shot at matching up numbers, and he doesn't even do it.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Brodeur is clearly a legend.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to put him at number one. So number one is Martin. Number two, Steph Curry, who is probably the best shooter ever. But when you're the best goaltender ever, that's a little bit higher. Yeah. Just look, their awards are pretty comparable. But like you said, 5 times he gave up the fewest goals per game. 5 times.
It's crazy.
I don't know how he didn't win 5 Vezinas, to be honest with you. He got robbed one year. Look, it was a struggle between Brodeur and Curry.
Agreed.
Struggle. Terry Sawchuk, great numbers as well, but just didn't amass the amount
250 more
of games. It's just crazy.
Consistent for so long, Brodo. It wasn't even like you sit back and go,
Right. No, he didn't like tail off at the end of his career. Yeah. He's like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah,
I don't think I can.
I don't want to get to 700.
Although 9 more games to 700.
Right. I would have done the same. We've talked about this a lot. Like weird
9 more.
Just do it.
Like
man.
You could just play another month.
Yeah, just do it, man.
It's like, I got my 700.
Best
I'm going to
goalie for the LA Kings back then. Raji Vekkan? I don't even know who that is. I don't know who that is, Danny. Maybe Ron knows.
Who? What?
Raji Vekkan?
Rogi Vachon.
Vachon. He said was the best goaltender.
I like Rogi Vachon.
Bo Jackson, also, don't forget him. Yeah, maybe not kick return. Well, he did kick return sometimes. Yeah. Ron. Bo knows. Before we get into predictions, can we bring up the Hall of Fame? As those, we had just recently added Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Zadine to the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. But it is time for you to get on the Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page on Facebook. Cast your votes now. In the NFL, got Deion Sanders, Rod Woodson, Arenas Williams, Eric Allen, and Steve Atwater, all great defensive backs. Please jump on that page and vote to help them get one of them get into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame, as well as for the WNBA, Candace Parker, Swin Cash, Cheryl Swoops, Tamika Catchings, and Maya Moore, all phenomenal players.
It's a tough one.
So please go on to the Facebook Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page. Cast your vote today to help nominate the next inductee into the Sports Unfolded.
Swoops has like one of the greatest basketball names.
It is Swoops. Like it just fits.
I love it.
Right? But even Swin Cash is kind of like,
well, that's pretty neat.
That sounds pretty good
that's
too.
Hip.
That's cash. Cash money, baby. I won last week, Ron. Eric. No, you did not win last week. Ron was on a heater last week. Ron, bring up the predictions.
Oh, Danny boy, look at this. Ron was 5-1.
Ron went 5-1 last week. I went 3-3. James 3-3. Danny 2-2. Danny, you got to pick all the games, my friend. That's going to kind of help as well. But it is time, Ron, to make our predictions. If you are joining us live and want to get your name added to the chart or increase those numbers, please tell us who you pick for each game, and we will let you know how you did next week. We're starting off in Major League Baseball. New York Mets at the San Francisco Giants. It's a 3-game series, Ron. Giants have tailed off in my eyes, even though they're at home. I went the New York Mets here.
Yeah, I'm going Mets as well. I just think they're a better baseball team. I never really thought San Francisco were contenders, to be honest with you.
Get your boy Devers, though.
To tail off, especially with Devers there. Now
he's playing first. Did you say you heard he's
Yeah,
playing
but
first?
whatever. He doesn't like it. He'll just make a bunch of errors on purpose just so he doesn't have to play there.
They pull him. Giants. Danny's going to Giants.
I can't put up any of the things because I don't see any of the chats.
I got it, buddy. Also starting tonight, the Toronto Blue Jays at the Detroit Tigers. Both teams in first place. It's a big series for both. Who do you have?
Yeah, I think this is the series that Detroit is going to try to put things together. I think they'll take 2. So I'm going to go Detroit at home. I think they have some soul searching to do because they got to right the ship.
Yeah, I agree with you. I picked Detroit as well. I think they need this more. They're getting desperate. Toronto's played some good baseball. And surprised a lot of people. They have 4.5 games up in the AL East. But I think Detroit needs to. Danny went Toronto. Detroit needs this win more. WNBA action, Ron. We've got the Phoenix Mercury at the Indiana Fever. That's on the 30th. Who knows with Caitlin Clark and this injury if she's going to be back. So I went Phoenix here. Was playing really good basketball.
Yeah, I went Phoenix as well. I think they've just been a better team.
Consistent.
Indiana Fever has just been a 500 team, really. Very vulnerable without Caitlin Clark. And they're now getting exposed by some of these good teams.
Yeah.
And they're not even competitive in some of them.
Agreed. Danny, who do you have? Mercury at the Fever. My cousin lives in Toronto. That's why. Okay. That's good. What about the next game, Danny? I love this kid. Whew. My man. He's going Phoenix versus who? Indiana. Indiana Fever. We can't have dead time, though. Dead air. We got to make sure we keep talking while we for Danny.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying.
Danny. Maybe we should bring him on just for predictions next time. I got to check this going on daily. This is going to be an interesting one. All right. Also on the 30th, he went Phoenix. Also on the 30th, you got the New York Liberty at the Minnesota Lynx, both top records in the league. What do you have?
Liberty has started playing very well lately.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one because Minnesota is really good too, and they are at home. But just the Liberty just rise to occasions on this. I'm gonna go Liberty.
I went Liberty as well. They're I think 4-game win-in streak. They've kind of raided the ship. Me and Becky's prediction show, Eric. He went LA Liberty. All right. Yeah, all right, Danny.
LA Liberty?
I don't know. All right. Major League Soccer, Ron. We've got tonight a matchup between Nashville Soccer Club, and they're at the San Diego Football Club. Last week, tie in the game we picked. But I'm going San Diego here at home. That's the
only loss I got?
No, we didn't count the game. I didn't count it. I don't count ties as a loss.
Why not?
I went San Diego because we're not picking ties. We're not doing that anymore. San Diego Football Club at home. That's what I'm taking.
Yeah, that's who I went with too. Look, they're at home. They'll win like 2-1. And
or it'll be a tie and the game don't count.
Or it'll be a tie and the game don't count.
Yeah. San Diego for Danny as well. He's sticking all West Coast. I see what he's doing. LA Liberty. Ron, football is back this Thursday. We've got the Los Angeles Chargers at the Detroit Lions. It is preseason. I think it'll be the 4th, 5th stringers. But I think the Chargers have more depth. So I went LA here. I went the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah.
There's no starters going to play in this game.
Yeah, he's a better coach. He'll have those guys. Yeah, definitely. LA Chargers for sure. I can't. I wanted to go to Detroit, and everybody would hype up. Oh my God, Detroit looks so good, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's
But
pricey.
I think this is going to be about the coaches, and I think he's going to be a little more prepared than what.
Yeah.
Just saying,
All right.
coaching makes a difference.
All right. Ron, last week, you got a top 5 driver, my friend. See if you can do it again. The 27th this Sunday. You got the Brickyard 400 in Indianapolis. Need a top 5 driver.
I got it. This guy is going to win
If you
this
do it
too.
again with the van.
I've got
whatever.
3 winners and a bunch of guys that have finished in my top 5.
Yeah.
So I'm going Ryan Blaney.
Okay. Ryan Blaney. I went Tyler Reddick. But we'll see. Top 5 driver next week's race. All right, that's our prediction segment. Dallas Cowboys versus the Eagles. I don't know when that happens, Danny. But when it comes, we'll make sure we pick it. He's going Dallas. I don't think they play in this week. It's only one game this week, Danny. That's the only one. So, Ron, before we get into our final thoughts, if you could tell the wonderful people out there how they could become a sponsor of Sports Unfolded and help continue to grow our show while continuing to grow their business.
Absolutely, Eric. Look, it's very simple. Your ad will be here. We will read the ad. So not only will people see it, but it will be heard on the audio version for Spotify, Red Circle, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, and many more. So send us an email at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. We can send you out the media kit, and you'll know exactly what to do to get your name up there or down here. It could be all over the place. Who knows? Depends on what you pay for, right?
That's it. But we'd love to get some sponsors.
We have the ratings, the Nielsen ratings should be out pretty soon for the Atlanta station.
Oh, looking forward to that as well.
So I cannot wait to see, I'm sure we have millions listening to us by now. Millions.
Ron, it is always a pleasure doing the show every week. I will say this. We want to continue to help others grow as well. So I will sponsor the show. Danny, send an email. We'll send you over the media kit. But with that, Ron, let's thank those that are helping contribute to us in putting us in other markets. First off, 99.1 WDJY FM in Dallas, Georgia, on every Saturday at 1 p.m. Thank you for the support. As well as 990 WBOB in Providence, Rhode Island, on every Saturday at 10 a.m. And also SECTV, Public Access Channel 12, here in Southeast Connecticut. Thank you for putting us on every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. We appreciate the support. Continue to help us grow. Ron, thank you to Danny. Thank you, Danny. It is time for us to go through our final thoughts. And our final thoughts don't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It can be about anything happening in the world today. I am first this week, and I'm sure I'll steal one of yours, or you, right? And you probably had the same sentiments. But I've got 2. I'll start off first and foremost. Major League Soccer made a decision. I don't know if you've heard. They are suspending Messi and I think it's Albi for 1 game because they are deciding not to participate in the All-Star game. And it's not a medical reason. They just decided not to participate. I like the move, especially on a sport that's trying to grow, especially a sport that's trying to grow in America. That's your biggest star is Messi. And the fact he would just miss it just because that's a ton of fans and a ton of money that league's going to lose just based on that. If it was a medical reason, I'd be fine with it, but it's not. It's a personal choice. So I'm glad Major League Soccer stepped up and said, listen, it's not going to be okay, and you're suspended for a game. And then my last final thought, obviously the passing of Ozzy Osbourne, but what he meant to the sports world as well, right? Obviously a rock legend, but every sporting event with Crazy Train. They even do it here in New England with the Patriots, and it'll live on. He will live on. The fan favorite, when that song plays, you just know things are getting real. Like it's about to heat up.
Yeah.
We lost a rock legend, and rest in peace, Ozzy. Again, just a devastating week this week, but that was one that hit home as well. That's my final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, the loss is massive, and it has been, like I said, all week, and Chuck Mangione as well. I mean,
great artist.
I mean, we're talking about some people that meant a lot, and Malcolm Jamal Warner from Cosby Show. Which is hard to believe that Theo Huxtable is gone, but that wasn't even his best acting, right? I mean, it was a very impactful show, especially to African Americans. But I remember Jeremiah when the series he did with Perry from
Tyler Perry?
No.
Oh.
From 90210. I can't think of his name. Matthew Perry.
No.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, it was
great Luke Perry.
Luke Perry. Thank you. It was a great post-apocalyptic television show, and it was fantastic. One of the best.
Danny real quick said
so much.
Yeah, Danny said, "Don't forget your loved ones because you might not know what's going to happen the next day." So well said, Danny.
Very well said, Danny. I like that because you don't know when you're going to lose somebody, and I'm telling you, this has been a week, and I'm sure there's going to be others that go. And we all have to understand that if it's their time, it's their time. But it still is impactful, with all that nostalgia that you build up through time when you're watching them on TV or in concerts. And it just hurts. And, you kind of lose a little bit of yourself with all of these passings. And, But Eric, there is some happiness just around the corner because game 1 of preseason is just around the corner, and that makes everybody feel good.
Yes,
because everybody is 0-0, sitting in first place.
Everybody has a shot, right?
And we're all looking to try to get that first win of the season. And right the ship. Just right the ship. So football is just around the corner, folks. Just around the corner. And then 2 corners down, NHL.
And
NBA
Ron's
is really happy with football and NHL back.
They're all back. They're all back at some point. Well said, Ron. I do want to say, please check the Sports Unfold Sports Poll page. Cast your votes for the Hall of Fame. As well, like, share, follow our show. So many different ways you can do that. All social media platforms. We're on everything. You can't not find us. So check that out. Ron, it is time to end our show. I want to thank you, as always, for an amazing show. I appreciate it. All the sports fans out there, if you're going to listen afterwards, please join us every Friday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the best sports podcast on the planet. I want to thank Danny for being live with us tonight. Always one of our biggest supporters. We appreciate you, Danny. Thank you again for that. And we'll get to do it all over again next week, Ron. We'll look forward to that. And all we ever ask for every single show is that we finally get peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.